Welcome back to the Kyle Olson Show. An impeachment effort has been sort of bubbling under the surface in Michigan for quite a while now, and my next guest is now taking action. Matt Maddock was just elected to a second term in the House of Representatives, so thanks for being here today.
Hey, pleasure to be here, Kyle, and thanks for taking the time to cover this really important issue.
So what put you over the top and made you decide to pursue impeachment?
Where do you want to start? Let's talk about the people that died in nursing homes, thousands and thousands of our loved ones and our most vulnerable who died in nursing homes. I guarantee you this, Kyle. If she had not carved out the legislative process and the legislators out of her decision-making process, like we asked her not to do, okay, there would have been open debate and discussion on the House floor and in the Senate about whether or not it's a good idea or a bad idea to send people who are COVID positive into our nursing home, people who are frail. And I guarantee you this: there would not be one vote on the House or the Senate floor that would have allowed her to do that and thought that was a good idea. Okay,
well, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say that to me, of all of the reasons, that is the most egregious and unforgivable that she did that. And I think you're exactly right. If there was legislative oversight for that specific issue, that would not have happened.
Not have happened. Yep.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Let's talk about all the people that have denied just regular medical attention. The women out there who had double mastectomies that can no longer get themselves back to normal. We've got college and high school students being denied their educational opportunities, scholarships. We can talk about this for hours. Suicides are up, depression amongst high school and high school kids and college kids, depression amongst all of us, increased rates of suicide, increased rates of alcoholism, drug abuse. We can go on. Not even talking about the livelihood she's destroying of these families and the people that own businesses. It's just she's a mean Karen is what she is.
So talk to me about the process. When you're planning to do this, what the process is, and all of that.
Yeah, well, first of all, I'm not the only legislator that is pushing for this. There are a handful of us. State Representative Bo LaFave has actually filed the impeachment paperwork. He did that yesterday. So now we just need to we need to whip votes in the House to start. We can't start this process unless leadership agrees to, number one, let us talk about it on the House floor, and number two, we need to have the majority of Republicans in the House floor that are willing to initiate this process to hold hearings. And if that happens, the leadership would appoint 3 members of the House to be to hold the hearings, and then it goes to the Senate, and the Senate, in a sense, becomes the jury. Very similar to the way it happens on the national level.
The Speaker of the House, Lee Chatfield, he has said that he would not hold a vote on the impeachment of the governor. Do you think that's a hard and fast thing? Do you think he's waiting to see the evidence? Where does that stand?
You know what? Sometimes you have to ignore the polls and do what's right in order to lead, okay? I've heard from people all over the state who are suffering and hurting, and that's just because, it's not just because some poll tells you that we have, don't have 60% of the people behind us. It doesn't mean that I'm not going to do what's right. To be honest, I think it's a mistake to make a decision that fast to not support this.
What are your colleagues saying? Because you indicated, you talked about Bo LaFave, and there's others you had posted on Facebook who are supportive of the effort, not just in the House, but also in the Senate. Are you envisioning that this will take place in December, or do you think it will happen after the new year and with a new legislature?
Well, we have some new legislators coming in, some new freshmen that are also supportive of it. So I don't think it really matters when it happens. I think it's important that we we keep moving in this direction because we've got families all over the state of Michigan that want to tell their stories and they need to be heard. And we just need to keep going. And if you're listening to my voice out there and you want to if you think this is the direction we should head to, then you need to call your legislators and let them know how you feel.
How can they do that?
Call their state legislators. Call their House member.
What is as you say, there has been a lot of frustration, and I feel it personally. I have a high schooler who now he was currently going 2 days a week. Now he's going 0 days a week. They're claiming that that's for 3 weeks. It's a quote unquote pause. But you go back to early October when the Michigan Supreme Court ruled that all of Governor Whitmer's executive orders, nearly 200 executive orders, were unconstitutional. All of those were thrown out. Pretty much hours later, she, through the Health and Human Services Department, issued several of the very same orders. in I think the opinion of many people, she was just sort of thumbing her nose at the Supreme Court. What else can the legislature do?
That's a great question. What else can we do? Look at what we've done, okay? First of all, we flattened the curve without masks. Then she asked us to wear masks. We did that. Then she asked us to wear masks again. We did that. She shut down the economy. We did that. You know, I'm seeing a pattern here that's just continuing over and over and over again. We are being obedient, okay? She's not. She is defying court orders. She is violating our constitutional rights, and we have to stop her.
And it seems to me like if she has this strategy and it's wear masks and it's social distancing and it's limiting crowd sizes and all of that, if that strategy is working, why are cases going up?
Great question. Great question.
And nobody asks her that.
The left is saying, well, it's because you Republicans aren't wearing masks. No, that's not true. Everyone's wearing a mask.
Well, and you know that for all of the rallies that President Trump had here in Michigan before the election, he had one in Muskegon where I live. I know he had them Oakland County, Macomb, across the Grand Traverse County, across the state. If those would have been those quote-unquote super spreader events, we would have heard about that. But strangely, we didn't hear anything about that.
Yeah. I mean, what's she going to do next? Shut down grocery stores? I mean, people are in grocery stores they spend time in grocery stores touching everything. What is she going to do next? She knows she can't do that, but this is about controlling us, and it just has to stop. The legislative process needs to be followed. We need to have a lot of smart people, and these people need to start making decisions because that's what we were elected to do.
And a lot of people have who are sort of negative on impeachment are saying, well, it'll go to the Senate, and then you need 4 of the 16 Democrats to cross party lines and vote to convict her and remove her. But to me, the impeachment process, that's the opportunity where you can have an investigation, you can have hearings, you can compel testimony, you can compel documents. You can get to the bottom of what happened in nursing homes, and you can prove that she knew what was going on. Her department, her administration knew what was going on and did nothing.
That will be proven without a reasonable doubt. I assure you that if we get these hearings, and if we don't get the hearings, we're going to impeach her in 2022. That's what we're going to do. The whole state of Michigan is going to impeach her in 2022 because she has to go. She has to stop. She's ruthless.
It seems to me like the public doesn't really get an accurate depiction of the way she is from the media, especially the Lansing media, because I participate in a lot of her press conferences. I observe them. It's fluff questions. It's fluff stories. You don't get a question like what we just talked about earlier of if we're doing all of these things and Michiganders are complying, which I believe we are. When I go to the store, people are wearing masks. We're social distancing, all of those things. People are complying. If that strategy is being followed, which I believe it is, and it's not working, then clearly because of the cases going up, then why aren't we changing the strategy? But no one will ask her that. No one will ask her that.
Well, we don't have a seat at the table. She doesn't return our calls. She doesn't ask us for any permission to do anything. She doesn't seek our advice or our wisdom. So I don't know what to tell you. She is operating as a queen of the state, and that's wrong. And people are upset about it, and we're heading in a bad direction.
What do you think? I think you sort of touched on it, but when you do the investigation into nursing homes and that policy, what do you think you're going to find?
I think we're going to find a lot of dead bodies. People that died alone and scared. Some of them starved themselves to death. Did you know that, Kyle? They were so depressed. They stopped eating. Many families watched their grandparents and great-grandparents die in a Zoom call. Can you believe that? This should have never, ever, ever happened.
Well,
the blood is on her hands.
Yeah, and that, as I said earlier, that's the investigation that needs to be done. That is the egregious policy that needs to be exposed, and there needs to be accountability for that.
And you know what? Not every member is going to be excited about what I'm doing. I'm receiving a lot of flack from leadership. There's been threats made. I've received death threats. My family's received death threats. We've got people coming after us left and right. But you know what? This isn't about putting a poll out there to find out whether or not this is the right thing to do. This is the right thing to do. And if you're listening to me and you're one of my colleagues, for example, just get on board with this, just to hold those hearings to find out what she did with our seniors.
State Representative Matt Maddock, thanks for joining me today.
Great, Cal. Thanks for having me on.